Okay, this week's Parsha starts with the dinim of Karbanos, and the second pasuk says, Adam ki Yaakov mikem korban laHashem min habehema min habakar min hatzon takrivu es korbanchem. Then the next pasuk says that he should bring the korban al Pesach al Moed Yakriv also l'rtzono lifnei Hashem. He should bring it to the entrance of the Mishkan, and he should be makriv it l'rtzono with his own will lifnei Hashem. And Rashi here brings the chazal that Yakriv also means Melamed Shekofin also. We force him, if he's chayiv to bring a korban and he doesn't want to bring the korban, so we force him to bring the korban. In other words, Yakriv also is the person himself. We will bring him close even if he doesn't want to. Melamed Shekofin also. So Rashi continues with the Medrash, the drash of the Medrash. Yachal bal korcho. So I might think that means he's bringing the korban against his will. Talmud lomar l'rtzono. But the next word in the pasuk says l'rtzono. It has to be out of his own free will. Okay, so it says Rashi, how's that possible? If you're forcing him, how can it be called l'rtzono? So the answer is kofin also. We force him ad sheyomar rotani. We force him to do it until he acquiesces and finally says, okay, I give in, I'll do it. And the question obviously is, if he's being coerced and he's being forced to do it, even if we eventually are forcing him enough that he gives in and says, okay, I'll do it, that's not really ratzon. He really is not doing it. He's just doing it to get us off his back. But he really is not doing it out of his own free volition. Why is that called Persono? So how do we understand this concept of kofin also? We force him to do it until he says rotzani, and that satisfies the question of Persono. So this is answered by the famous Rambam. The Rambam is not in regards to korban, but the Rambam is discussing this identical din by get isha. The din by get isha is that in certain circumstances, when the husband is chayiv to divorce his wife, and Beis Din is in a position to exercise their koach of Beis Din forces the husband. They physically beat him up and they force him to give his wife a get, but he has to first agree. The same thing applies. Kofin also ad sheyomar rotza'ani. And once he says, okay, I'll do it, and gives the get, it's considered to be a kosher get. Again, this is not something that we can apply halacha l'maisa. This is not like a broad rule. Every time somebody is refusing to give a get, let's just beat them up. It has to be under very specific circumstances. But the fact that such a din exists needs to be understood. If a get cannot be done against the man's will, the husband's will, he needs to be doing it willfully. What does it help to be kofin also and force him until he says, okay, I'll do it? That's what he's saying, but he really is resisting. So this is the famous Rambam regarding the din of kofin also ad sheyomar rotzani, perak beis halacha chaf in Hilchos Gerushin, and the Rambam brings down this din of kofin also ad sheyomar rotzani, and the Rambam says v'lomo lo batal get zeh sharehu anus. He's being forced. Says the Rambam, ein omrim anus. Somebody who was forced and pressured, this is only if we're forcing him to do something he's not obligated to do. Here, he's obligated to give the get. Why is he not doing it? Misha Tokfo Yitzro Hara. His Yitzro Hara has gotten the better of him. Levato mitzvah, not to do a mitzvah, Olasos Avera. The Yetzer Hara is pushing him to do an Aveira, Behuka, and he is beat up. We hit him. Until we got him to do the mitzvah he was chayiv to do, or if he had to do with an Aveira, Nisrachek Midavar Ha'asr Lasoso, we got him to desist and not do the Aveira. Einza Anus Mimenu, he's not being an Anus. Elahu Anas Atzmo Bedaito Hara'a. And the opposite is true. He forced himself to do the wrong thing. Follow this. Me'achar shehu rotze lios miYisrael. He wants to be Jewish. V'rotze hu lasos kol mitzvos. Deep down, he wants to do the right thing. He wants to do mitzvos. So l'srachek min averos. That's his true persona. V'yitzrahu shetakfo. And the fact that he doesn't want to do the mitzvah now, he wants to do the avera, is because of his yetzer hara. But that's not the genuine, true essence of who he is. Kevan shahuka at shetoshash yitzro. By us hitting him and beating him up, we have weakened his yetzer hara. V'omar rotza ani v'argiresh l'tzono. The rotza ani expresses his true inner feelings, says the Rambam. So the hitting him is not forcing him to do something he really doesn't want to do. The hitting him is getting rid of the external factor that's stopping him from doing what he really wants to do. And the rotza ani expresses his inner ratzon of wanting to do the ratzon Hashem. So the same thing applies here by the korban. When he is being forced to bring the korban, we are hitting him until he says rotzani. He's not bringing the korban because it's cost too much money, because he's embarrassed, maybe for some other reason he doesn't want to bring the korban. But now that we force him to do it, so what's happening is that he is now expressing his real inner desire to go ahead and do the right thing, and therefore he is considered to be bringing the korban l'rtzono. So this is the famous yesod that we see in this parsha, that we have to understand who our real, true persona is, what our deep down ratzon really is, and everything else are artificial layers that cover us up because of external things like the yetzer hara, like peer pressure, like expectations of society, and the violence that's sometimes needed, the getting beat up and knocked down that's sometimes needed, is to remove the external layers so our true, beautiful inner self will be able to surface. The Parshas Yosef here has the same idea, but he looks at it from a different angle other than Rashi. He says like this, El Pesach Oho Moed Yakriv Oso. Bring that person to the entrance of the Beis HaMikdash. When you bring him to the entrance of the Beis HaMikdash, and he sees the Kohanim Ba'avodasam, he sees the tzaddikim of the Kohanim in the Beis HaMikdash, he's exposed to the Ashras Hashchina, he sees the beauty of Kedusha and Ruchnius, then all his resistance will melt. Then automatically it'll be L'rtzono Lefnei Hashem. The confrontation of the beauty of Ruchnius and Kedusha and the Shechina and the Beis HaMikdash, that will penetrate and access his inner self that's just waiting to surface, that's being blocked by all these externals, by the yetzer hara and everything else getting in the way. So we see from Rashi and the Rambam, and we see from the Parshas Yosef, two ways to access our inner self and our true being, and how to be able to cut through the layers of yetzer hara and resistance. One way is the way of knocking it out of us and waking us up in some type of earth-shattering, shocking way that hurts, with pain, with discomfort, to get us to realize what the emes that's inside of us really is. And the other way is to expose ourselves in a positive way to what Kedusha and Ruchnius is, and to be overcome with the presence of the Shechina, and that way to be able to identify with who we really are on the inside. Some of you perhaps are remembering the Rashi at the beginning of Parshas Yisro. Why does Yisro come to be Magayer and join Klal Yisrael? Ma says Vayishma Yisro, Ma Shmua Shama Uba. Rashi says Kriyas Yamsuf and Muhammad Amalek. Kriyas Yamsuf was the wondrous Yad Hashem of the Nisim and the flows he did to save Klal Yisrael. Muhammad Amalek was the patch that Klal Yisrael needed to wake them up from their state of whatever it was, the Rafa Yadayim and Torah, Hayesh Hashem B'Kerbeno Amayin. So Yisro saw both sides of this, of the coins in the experience of Bnei Yisrael in the Midbar, and that brought him to the Akara to come to Klal Yisrael, and to be Megayer and come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. L'chora, what we're experiencing today are these two things. Our lives are threatened. People, Rachmana litzlan, are sick and need a refuah shalema, and we should continue to daven for the refuah shalema, b'sol kol Yisrael. People are, people are confined to their homes. Activities are limited. Chasanas, a bris, even a levaya, Rachmana litzlan, a havdil. My wife has an aunt who was nifter last week. There was no levaya, a very prominent woman with a large family. They had a kvura. There were no aspedim. They had to do aspedim on a conference call the next night. Life is being disrupted in major ways. Yeah, preparations for Pesach, even going Pesach shopping. There are so many things that we're giving a patch from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's makin also to wake us up. At the very same time, we see the Yad Hashem in unprecedented ways. The whole world realizes that we are not in control. We are not in a position to be able just to return to normal. So we see the Yad Hashem, we see the tremendous things that are happening. This should be a hisorus from both directions. From the Makin also Yom HaRotzani, and from Yaakov also a Pesach Ol Moed, to see the Hashgacha Pratis in the world, and that way to tap in to what the Rambam says is our true self, that we want to do Torah mitzvos and be an Eved Hashem to the maximum that it's possible to be. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us the Siyata D'Shmaya, that we should be able to live up to the challenges that we're facing and the opportunities that we're facing, and we should be Zocha de V'Sachazena Einenu B'Shuvcha L'Tzion B'Rachamim. Hatzlacha, everybody.